One thing I just want to say as well, I have an email or a message from Ozzy's wife. In that email, I could provide absolute evidence to vindicate myself, to show that there were a number of atheists, a large number of atheists, who did not agree with what Jim Gardner and those on some of the fundamentally flawed did. I could provide absolute proof by presenting that email, and I was going to do it, but at the end she said, please don't share this email. And out of respect to her, I'm not going to read the email out. But I want Ozzy and his wife to know, and I want the atheist community to know, that I was very, 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 very cheesed off about what Jim and his mates on the fundamentally flawed tried to do. And whatever I've said or done absolutely compares into insignificance to what they did on that when they tried to get me sectioned. And that if I wanted to, I could present absolute clear evidence that actually quite a large number of atheists on YouTube disagreed with what was done. But out of respect to you, Ozzy, and out of respect to your wife, I'm not going to show the evidence. Because at the end of the day, I respect your wife. I respect her right to privacy. She made it absolutely clear that she did not want anything revealed about what she said, and I won't do that. So no one will ever know the contents of that email. But I would absolutely love to be able to show it, because it would silence my critics like that. But she put under there, please, she said, please do not share this. So I won't. So I won't. You got away with murder, Jim Gardner. You absolutely got away with murder, mate. And your mates who deny that they had nothing, that they were not involved in it. And your mates. And your mates. And your mates. You got away with it. You got away with it big time. And you know what makes me laugh? Is you're on Google Hangouts and you blithely boast about it. Psychotic, mate. It's absolutely psychotic. You don't care. Not when you sent me emails. You sent one email threatening me. Then you changed your tack because you were doing whatever. Then you sent another email saying I'm childish. All while you're doing all this kind of stuff. What you did to me was absolutely horrendous. Pales into significance compared to what ever I've said compels into insignificance. It's a shame, it's a national shame on atheism on YouTube, that what you tried to do to me, and you can try and justify it all you want, but there's no justification for what you did. Absolutely no justification. It was malicious, it was nasty, and it was way, way, way below the belt. And I am still traumatized by that experience even now. And like I said, I will be changing my doctor. I'm not going to that doctor ever again. That doctor I will never ever see again. Never. I will never ever see that doctor again. And that is down to you, Jim Gardner. And your mates. Interfering in people's private lives. It's a national shame on atheism that you allowed that to happen. And many of you knew what was happening. A lot of you knew what was happening. And you absolutely made a bare-faced lie, Alex. And the Awesome Crew, and a lot of other leading atheists. You made a bare-faced lie, because you knew all what was happening. You knew it was going to happen. Many atheists out there knew what was going to happen. And if you were going to do something, spring something like that, you needed to have contacted me. You should never be allowed to get away with it. There's no justification for that at all. Absolutely no justification. I'm sorry. On the night, it was very, very clear that you all knew I was okay. On the night, it was very clear that Jim Gardner and others saw that as an opportunity to silence me, and used that, and then pretended to care when they didn't care. This is the same guy who screamed and shouted at Site Ten Brugengate in the most horrific, nasty way. So the guy did not care. It was vicious and it was malicious, and you cannot interfere with another person's doctor. You cannot try to force the doctor to try and section someone. You can't do that. You can't spend hours and hours talking about someone's a Christian apologist's mental health on YouTube channels. It's just not right. Because let's say I was the way you say I was, then compassion dictates that you don't talk about it, because that's not showing compassion. What you would do if you really cared is you would build bridges with that person and try to talk to that person and try to help that person, not spend hours and hours and hours on your YouTube channel talking about them. What you did to me is completely silence my free speech. That's what you did. And I don't want you, Ozzy, and your wife, and DPR Jones, and Thunderfoot, and Ironrat, who I'm told never had anything to do with it, but I'm sure some of them knew what was happening. But I can provide that absolute solid evidence right now. I can provide the message that was sent to me. In fact, I won't show it. I'll just show you that I had a message sent. I'm not going to show you the details of it, but just to show you. And it was sent on the 6th of the 2nd 2014, but I'm not going to show you the details of that, because if I did, it would absolutely take away the lady's privacy, and she insisted that I wouldn't show it. But at the end of the day, what you did to me is you took away my free speech, because I honestly fear critiquing atheism. I've made videos about free speech and about cyberbullying, but if you notice, I've not made any videos critiquing atheism like Bertrand Russell or Nietzsche, which I used to do, or Dawkins, which I used to do, because I'm really scared of the backlash from people like Jim Gardner, who will then spend 2 hours, 7 hours talking about, oh, Jason's mentally ill and we need to get him sectioned. I'm really scared of making a video on Nietzsche, on Bertrand Russell, on these things. So it was an absolute national shame on atheism, and I've never recovered from it. I was traumatized by that experience. I wouldn't have got into that experience if it weren't for you, Ozzy, you, DPR Jones, and the New Covenant group, all gathering together and attacking me and saying that the guy has plagiarized, and you never let me come on any of the shows to actually answer those accusations. So you all ganged up on me, Ozzy. You all laid into me. Christopher Moore, at Christmas, you were all, some of you were sat on your Christmas couches. You all waded into me. You all attacked me, and I was disgusted that I was pushed out of the conversation. That made me round on Alex and give an absolute rounding on him, and accidentally, I didn't mean to mention his wife. That made a backlash. I then get 10 threats at least on my home phone. That then led me to put that suicide video up to stop the people from threatening me. I pulled it down within an hour. That led to then Jim Gardner and his mates thinking, well, we've got the guy now, we'll teach him a lesson. That led you to collecting the video, putting it on a Google Archive channel of Jason Burns, which incidentally sent me a threat recently that if I continue to ask for my videos back, they'll DMCA me. That led to that channel organising, and it did organise that video up, kept it up with the title Jason Burns has committed suicide, kept that up for over 12 hours, and in fact it's still on that channel even to this day. People were commentating, I told the people on there within a few hours that everything was fine. People knew I was fine, but no, they continued to keep the video up. They continued to mislead the public. The police came the next day, said, what's this suicide video? I showed them that I had taken it off, that it was the atheist that had the video. They said, don't go on YouTube if that's the way it's going to be and the way they are. Just I was quiet for 2 weeks. By that time, within that 2 weeks, I got an email from Jim Gardner, who threatened me and said, I am going to absolutely sort you out and all the rest of it. After a couple of days he cooled down. Unbeknown to me, he was doing something that I had no idea was happening. I saw comments from other atheists saying, shh, leave Jason alone, it's going to get sorted. So I know for a fact that you all knew what was happening, but I didn't know what was happening. And then I get a letter from my doctor who said, we need you to come in for a checkup. I go in. She basically said to me, you need to leave the atheist alone or you'll be sectioned. She read a snippet of the police report, and the complaint was I had too many books. She said, well, I suppose that's okay. She went into, what's this about slashing yourself? I said, well, the atheists have taken my video. I told them exactly the context about being cyberbullied and threatened. I told her everything that happened, and basically that they had taken that video and put it on their channel. I told them that I was famous on YouTube, and I told her that. She said, well, why have you declared war on the atheists? I said, well, because I declared war on me. It was ideological. She said, well, don't do any more videos because it'll get nasty and you could get sectioned. So she said. I said, but the police never informed me about what was happening. She said, well, they should have done. And then I said, you didn't inform me what happened. And she said, I did. I said, no, you didn't. She said, I did. So I left it there because she was barefaced lying. She did not. And I'm not going back to that doctor ever again because she lied to me. Not only lied to me, but took on board aggressive militant atheist views rather than actually check the details, rather than go and check these people's, the police, rather than go and check these atheist websites and find out what they're like. Then I want to leave YouTube, and I plead to the atheist, please take these Google archive channels down. I pleaded with them, they wouldn't take them down. I put ketchup on my face. I pleaded to Thunderfoot, please, I'm bleeding inside, take them down. The atheists keep these videos, say, look, Jason's mentally ill. When they have these YouTube channels and I want to move on, they keep them. Meanwhile, I took my YouTube channels down. Ozzy was going around saying YouTube had taken them down. They hadn't. It was me who took them down. So you were going around saying things you didn't have a clue about, Ozzy. So basically, like I said, I'm not getting involved with you. I'm staying away. But I want my side of the story known. On top of that, my auntie was dying. She'd gone through an operation. She was doing okay, but she's rapidly deteriorated within a week. She's having another operation tomorrow, and there's a good chance that she won't survive it. So I've had all that to cope with while I've had all these atheists attacking me. I honestly went on a Google Hangout to ask Making Explicit to have an academic debate. He ummed and ahed. Then at the end of it, he swore. He'd been swearing at me all the time, and then he says, "You whatever." He did a Nazi salute. When, if you go and watch the original video, you can see the original video that that kind of accusation was just really disgusting. That was just having a bit of fun. There was no nastiness intended. And that's a Nazi salute. Sie Heil. I didn't do that. I went Jawohl. What's Jawohl mean? I don't even know what Jawohl means. We're just having a bit of fun, you know. And I've had all this kind of stuff. And I just want you to know my story. I've repeatedly asked for academic debates. They won't have them. I said I was going to write a world-class paper. It'd take me ages, so I wrote a smaller paper. I ran from it like the clappers. The only person who was able or wanted to take me on was Ozzy and Thunderfoot, and Ozzy was okay, but he really didn't know the subject as deep as he thought he did, and Thunderfoot clearly hadn't got a clue what he was talking about. Matt Delunty said he'd read the paper, he ran like the Clappers. Iron Man said he'd debate the paper, he ran like the Clappers. Every time I tried to have a Google Hangout on Bart Ehrman or Immanuel Kant, I get ambushed by atheists. 5-6 atheists turn up, spoil the show. Every time I want an academic debate, you don't want the academic debate, you refuse resolutely to have academic debates. I've lost 2,000 of my videos. I incessantly apologise for whatever mistakes I make, but nobody actually comes forward and apologises on behalf of the atheists for what you did to me. And no leader comes out and says Jay deserves his free speech. But you allow these groups to continue attack me, and now have forced me to stay away from YouTube. And on top of that, we had people like Live Life 8072 on the Awesome Crew, who said that I could kill people, and it's just mind-boggling what you get away with. There is no comparison between me going Yavol and Live Life saying Jay could go and kill people. There's no comparison. There's no comparison to me rounding on Alex Borton and his wife because I've been bullied by everybody and I was upset and didn't mean the things I was saying. There's no comparison with that and with Jim Gardner getting my doctor to bring me in under false pretenses, threatening me with being sectioned so that I don't do videos on atheism, and coming home and literally feeling that someone had sex up my bum because I felt absolutely devastatingly, I just felt as if I'd been emotionally raped. I felt I was living in a communist state. It was shocking. My family was so shocked, absolutely shocked. We were absolutely devastated that in a free country that could happen. There's no comparison, because I have said sorry to Alex and his wife. Jim Gardner and anybody who knew has not said sorry. And you all hide behind that suicide video, but you know for a fact in your heart of hearts that you knew for a fact in your heart of hearts, the key people, Jim Gardner and Alex Borton, and the key people around that time, you knew for a fact I made it clear that I was okay. You knew for a fact I took my video down, I took my channels down, and you knew for a fact that when it was put on this archive channel that was the beginning of you being malicious, misrepresenting me in public. My family's in danger. My family is seriously in danger now. I made a video rounding on Islam that if a Muslim saw it, they would be really angry about it, especially if they're Al-Qaeda, because I called them to task for their anti-democracy. And this Google Archive channel has kept that up and puts me and my family at danger, because I took that video down because I believe 100% in what I was saying. But these Al-Qaeda people, if they saw the video, would not be so kind. So you're holding me back by having these archive channels, because then I could just go completely. That archive channel has been involved in cyberbullying at Christmas and cyberbullied me recently. It does work with other people. Jim Gardner had that guy on, and the guy said, oh, I work on my own, I don't work in tangent. But it's just bull, because you've been on shows together, talked together, laughed together about me, and plotted together. So it's on your Google Hangout shows. So it's just all lies. And it's not going to go away. This is not going to be dropped until you sort it out. Alright? You're not getting away with it. Now I can finish that controversy in 2 minutes by reading Ozzy's wife's email, which would absolutely categorically show that there were atheists involved in this, and that many atheists told these other atheists that they disagreed with what they were doing. So there was an internal split within the atheist community about this issue, and I could provide that, and that would absolutely vindicate me. But out of respect to this lady and her privacy, I'm not showing it. But I'm a highly entertaining person, I'm a funny person, I've got lots to give, lots of preaching to do, lots of Bible teaching, lots of scholarly stuff, and what I do with my time and how I do it is none of your business. It's none of any of you business. If I want to make 500 videos a day, then that's my business, it's none of your business. If I want to make 2 videos a day or 6 videos a week, whatever, it's none of your business. And if any of you thinks I need help, well, if I want your help, whoever it is, whether you're a Christian or whether you're an atheist, I'll come to you. You don't come to me. Because none of you cared when my life was broken. When I was on YouTube year after year and I was a broken man, none of you cared. None of you came alongside me, not Christian or atheist. So I haven't got any respect for any of you, any Christian out there or atheist, because you weren't there for me when I was broken. So now that you're worried that I might make 500 videos a day, it's not 5, I'm just exaggerating, and you so-called cared, I have no respect for your opinions whatsoever, whether it be a Christian or whether it be an atheist. Because when I was broken, not one of you, not the Calvinists, not my Christian friends, not churches, nobody gave a shit, and nobody was there for me. I've had to survive on my own, without any support, without any help from any of you, whether Christian or atheist. And I regret that as a gospel minister I made many videos that I shouldn't have made, but I was a broken man. I was a broken man, and I've come through it. I've come through the worst of it. What gets me down is the attacks that I get from these atheists and the things that they make up about me. That gets me down, and so I need to stay away, because it really upsets me and it gets me depressed. It gets me really, really depressed when I hear Jim Gardner and Alex Bolton spout the bullshit that they do. It gets me really, really depressed. And I come on and I get depressed. It gets me really angry when I get DMCA'd and then I fly off the handle, and then you tape it and then you put it on an archive channel and say, look at Jay, he's a nut job. It gets me really angry and upset because you do those kind of things and misrepresent me and have taken control of my public profile. That you won't let me move on, that you won't take the videos, Google Archive videos down that you have, and let me move on. It gets me really angry and upset. And it ain't gonna go away. It's not. I'm not gonna give up. It's just not gonna go away. If you want me to go away 100%, then you've got to take that Google archive channel down and the other archive channels, and you've got to make a statement that I have free speech, that you will never ever do it as a community to me again. And it's as simple as that. So all the attacks that you do against me, and all the spinning and all the misrepresentation, it pales into insignificance compared to what you did to me. What you did to me was absolutely horrendous. It was beyond the pale, and it can be absolutely proved that many of you actually agree with me, because I have the details from Ozzy's wife. But because she said, please, and she begged, please don't share this, I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to share it. As I said, I made some howling mistakes. I said things that were beyond fair, that were way below the belt, and I really apologise for it, because there's no justification for that, especially when you're a gospel minister. I really let the Lord down, and I really failed, and I really failed you. I really did. I failed you, Ozzy. I failed you, atheist. I really failed. I didn't preach the gospel to you as I should, and I'm really sorry. But I was genuinely upset and angry at you, at the militant atheism that Dawkins spouted. I was genuinely upset at the aggressive kind of tactics that a number of you atheists were doing. And I genuinely, in my own way, trying to deal with my own issues in life, was really upset and angry at that kind of atheism. And I came out all guns blazing for a couple of years. And I'm sorry if I upset people, but it was genuine. I was genuinely angry at that kind of atheism. That week after week we'll get a Christian on a YouTube, Google Hangout, and then you'd beat them up intellectually, 10 against 1, got me angry. The kind of videos that you, Live Life 8072, used to make and still make gets me angry, because it's just a misrepresentation of Christianity. And what used to infuriate me is when R.M. would say there is no evidence for the Christian faith. That would infuriate more than anything else, because even if I didn't believe in Christianity, there is some evidence, and that was just an unfair attack. So I waded in. I waded in as a broken man. I had gone through a difficult period in my life. And yeah, I was unbalanced. But it was the only place I could go. And yeah, I made many videos attacking you. But it was nothing in compared to the all atheists on YouTube and the armory that you had. You had many famous atheists out there, so it was just one against many. Yeah, and I shouldn't have said some of the things that I did, and it was below the belt, and I really apologise. But you have to face the fact that when Dawkins says you're abusing your children if you're teaching them creationism, when Sam Harris says that you know, if you believe in Christian fundamentals, you're in danger of being violent, when Hitchens was saying religion poisons everything, and then you had people like Thunderfoot attacking Venom Fang Gex, and Venom Fang Gex's private life being invaded, and all the rest. When those things were being said and going on, you can't expect an Aaron Ra saying there's no evidence. You can't expect it just to go on all your way. I came on with all guns blazing because I was angry at Dawkins, I was angry at Sam Harris, I was angry at Hitchens, I was angry, and I was hurt myself, and I was broken. I was looking for attention because I was lost. But I genuinely was pretty angry at this militant kind of atheism. And then one day I realized that I need to stop, because that's not me, because I'm a gospel minister. I have a degree in theology, I've taught preachers, I'm better than this. I have a brilliant library, I'm much better than this. And I realized, no, Jay, you're healing now. You're a lot better now, and these atheists, it's no good. You should be preaching the gospel. You should be teaching the Bible. You're not called to fight them politically, and when you do, it brings the worst out of you. And I didn't have any respect for myself when I was on YouTube. I didn't respect myself. I had no respect for who I was. I'd lost my self-respect. And when I realized I need to just move on, get on with my life, the atheists collected all those videos and made archive channels, and then that stopped me from moving on. It stopped me in my tracks from moving on to getting complete healing in my life and moving on and starting afresh. And it's stopping me now from moving on. And the atheists complain, oh, Jason's ill. But if they would pull those archive channels down, I could move on. And I'm better than that. I'm better than this kind of nonsense. I'm a better man than that. I've got more about me than this. So this is my story. I have my struggles, I have my pains, I have my failures, I have my weaknesses. But I used to love coming on YouTube because I like being a character. I like having a laugh. I like winding folk up and just having a bit of fun. I like the comedy. I like being silly. I like preaching. I like talking about theology and philosophy, and I kind of like it. And that's where the joy of it for me comes in. But I don't like these situations where I get a backlash from the atheists. Some of it my own fault, some of it's not my own fault, and then they start hounding me, and then that gets me really depressed, and I don't like that. It disturbs me deeply. But this is my story. I was ordained, and when I read my Bible, when I read my Bible, before I was ordained, God gave me a scripture, feed my lambs. He said to Peter, who'd completely failed his Lord, and I've failed the Lord. I failed because I had issues in my life, and I had sin in my life. I failed God, I failed my church, failed my wife, failed my Christian community. I failed. utterly failed. And in all my failure, I am weak. I'm just weak. And but the gospel and Jesus I was sincere and am sincere about Jesus, about the gospel. And I'm sorry that I have let everybody down. I let my church down. I let my wife down. I let everybody down. I let you down as atheist. I let you all down. I let my brothers and sisters in Christ down. I let you all down. The only person to blame ultimately is me. Nobody else. Not you, atheist. Not my church. Not my wife. The only person to blame is me. Sorry. So it says when I was being ordained, he said, feed my lambs. I read a scripture before I was ordained that said, feed my lambs. And I didn't organize the ordination service. And I went to the church, and there were some ministers there who were taking the service. And the reading in that service, which I didn't choose, was Feed My Lambs. I came out of the church and we went into the hall. And on the wall of the church, which I didn't know, I didn't realize, on the wall of the community church was Feed My Lambs, painted. And when I came to cut the cake, it was Feed My Lambs. That's as clear as call that you'll ever get to the ministry. And in that time, I've been a hypocrite. In that time, I've been a hypocrite. Because I have lived a double life. A life where I struggle and have struggled to overcome in certain areas of my life. But yet God has been with me and helped me and bore with me and has not given up on me. So I don't know where God will lead me, and I don't know if God still wants me to feed my lambs. I don't know what He'll do with me. But I know one thing, that the way I need to deal with issues right now is on my knees. The way to deal with my own hypocrisy is on my knees. The way to deal with the future is on my knees. The way to deal with my enemies is on my knees. The way to deal with the past is on my knees. The way to go forward is on my knees. It's to get on my knees and to spend time with God and to be led by God and to do what God says. Whatever happens, it's knee work for me. So I'm just being honest with you, every single one of you. Please forgive me for any failures that I've said or anything that I've done. I really apologise for being an arsehole, for failing everybody, for making mistakes, for hurting you, winding you up, for letting the Christian side down and letting the atheist side down. But in the midst of all the crap, there is good. There have been some good sermons, some good Bible studies, some good lectures out there, some laughs. There is some good out there. And there are good things. And it's not over till it's over. We have not failed completely until we give up. And I'm not giving up on my life. I'm not giving up on the call of God. It's only over when we say it's over, when we give up. It's only the story that people write about you until you let them. You can write your own story if you don't give up and continue to soldier on. And I'll continue to soldier on. I'll continue to never give up on the gospel, that is. I have read and studied atheism intensely for 3 years. I have been on their websites, I've listened to debates by most of the key atheists, listened to hundreds of hours of clips and video footage. I've read a number of their key books, and it's not shaken my faith in Jesus. My faith in Christ is as strong now than it ever was. I'm not fazed by the arguments the atheists bring, because the more I've studied my Bible and studied Christianity, the stronger I've only got in that area. I found great strength in historical studies great strength in philosophical studies. As I've looked into history and I've looked at philosophy, those are the two areas that I'm interested in. I found great strength and confirmation of my faith. Science stuff, I'm not an expert in science, but in philosophy and history, those are the topics that I enjoy, and I have found my faith confirmed in those areas. The area of science, I don't find their arguments a threat, and but that's not my area of expertise or passion. But every argument, every question the atheists have brought up, I've been able in my own mind to deal with it satisfactorily, and I have no problem. So I'd encourage people to look into Christianity and learn about it, find out about it, because it's really the truth. So, you know, when you go and take your car through the garage and get it cleaned, or when you go and have a spring clean in your house, I suppose this is my spring cleaning, clearing the air for the new year. Make of it what you will. This is my journey, and this is me, warts and all. What you do with it is up to you. Just God bless you all, and this is just me. Take it or leave it. Alright, take care.